The Appalachian Mountains have a way of making you feel small, their dense forests swallowing the world whole. I went camping there once with three of my buddies Ryan, Mark, and Jared when we were 18, our heads full of bravado and our packs heavy with cheap snacks and borrowed gear. That night, as the fire crackled against the endless darkness, we laughed and swapped ghost stories, trying to outdo each other's tales. Midnight came and went, but the woods didn't care about time. They loomed around us, deep and unknowable, each gust of wind carrying faint whispers from the trees. Ryan, sitting beside me, suddenly grabbed my leg. "Dude," he hissed, his voice barely audible over the fire's crackle. "Look." My eyes followed the line of his trembling finger toward the edge of the woods. At first, I saw nothing but tangled branches and shifting shadows. Then, it stepped forward, or rather, stood there, a figure. A man, tall and thin, his silhouette unnervingly still. "Hey?" Jared called, his voice breaking the tense silence. "You lost or something?" The figure didn't move. Didn't speak. "Hello?" Mark shouted this time, standing halfway as if preparing to approach. That's when the figure turned. It didn't step away or make a sound, it just vanished. One moment, it was there, unmistakably human, and the next, it melted into the blackness of the forest, like smoke dissipating into the night. None of us moved for a long time. I could hear my own pulse in my ears, a frantic thrum that matched the tension in the air. "What the hell was that?" Jared finally whispered, his voice barely audible. "Maybe it's just another camper," Mark said, though he didn't sound convinced. "At midnight? Watching us from the dark?" Ryan shot back, his knuckles white as he gripped his flashlight. We debated for a while, but there wasn't much to say. We were miles deep into the wilderness with no cell service and no idea where the nearest help might be. Packing up and leaving in the dead of night wasn't an option, not with our gear sprawled everywhere and the moon providing the barest sliver of light. None of us wanted to venture into those woods, not with him or whatever it was possibly still out there. So we made a plan. 2-man watches, trading off every couple of hours. Mark and I took the first shift, our flashlights sweeping nervously over the trees while the others tried and failed to sleep. The hours dragged on, every rustle of leaves or snap of a branch setting our nerves on edge. At one point, I thought I heard faint footsteps, but when I turned my light toward the sound, there was nothing there. The woods seemed to mock us, alive with invisible eyes and hidden movements. But nothing happened. The figure didn't return. By morning, the rising sun painted the world in soft gold, and the forest seemed less threatening. We laughed nervously about our night of paranoia, convincing ourselves it had been nothing. We packed up camp and hiked out, eager to leave the shadows behind. 2 days later, the news broke. 2 hikers young, just like us, had been stabbed to death on a nearby trail. The killer, a mentally disturbed man who'd been wandering the area. They said he'd been seen lurking near campsites in the days leading up to the murders. The image of that shadowy figure in the woods flashed into my mind. I could almost hear the fire crackling again, feel Ryan's hand gripping my leg, see those dark, empty trees swallowing him whole. I'll never know for sure if it was him that night, standing there, watching us. But sometimes, late at night when sleep won't come, I think about how close we might have come to being his victims. The forest kept its secrets, but it left me with a chilling thought. Maybe the reason he disappeared so quickly wasn't because he was scared. Maybe he was simply choosing the right moment.